yards, we didn't have to even overhaul all the maintenance personnel that there to do the work. Instead, what we think with those people getting kept using it for the platform, right here in the middle, you know, things on either side. And you see by redoing the structure on the side, you can make it, instead of having that cars and columns in the way of moving everyone on the train, make it a modern station. But we will be reusing the structure. Yeah. We'll be reusing the structure and giving people a first-class station. That point we have to sort of get down and get a space, and that's when we start having tunnel sorting as you move west on 126.
George, everyone needs to move back to the podium now. Thank you.
Good afternoon. We certainly need the most unusual places here in New York. I'm very delighted to be here to meet the Second Avenue Subway, something that we've been talking about for a very long time. But before we start, I want to recognize some of the extraordinary leaders who are making this happen. And let me start with General Leader, who's been with us leading the someone that we work closely, we speak all the time about the challenges, but also the opportunities afforded to us in the post-pandemic transportation world. Also, Congressman Adriano Espaillat, I've known you for a long time, and I don't know if we've ever had a conversation. We didn't mention, now we have to get down here and look at the subway. We have to get down here. So your nagging has paid off. It's something that you're deeply passionate about, and I want to thank you for the leadership that we push toward this second phase. The queen of the first phase has to be the one and only Carolyn Maloney. She and I live together in Washington with a brand new member of Congress, and every morning, well, how do you think we're going to do with that Second Avenue subway? This is a decade ago. So she's been pushing for this, and I want to thank her for that friendship. And I don't know if Jerry Nadler had a chance to come here. Is Jerry Nadler? Okay, so it's upstairs. Jerry Nadler is on site, and he'll be talking to you shortly, but another fellow champion. That's the kind of clout that we have needed and that we have in our nation's capital to help push for the federal funding that is now down to it. Also, at the local level, someone who is also dreams big and works really hard on behalf of the constituents, and that's our Manhattan Borough President, my great friend, Robert Rodriguez is here. Soon to give up the title to become Secretary of State in my administration, so I'm very excited about that. Also, Al Taylor, Assembly Member, I believe, is here. Senator Serrano. And Senator-elect Cordell Clear is here. Senator-elect. And also Vincent Rock, the sitting there. Okay, good. Taking attendance here. I've told New Yorkers that my vision for this state is bold, especially as we re-envision the post-pandemic world. And it's an opportunity for us to see what is out there. A lot of the untapped potential that has been beneath our screens for really decades. And that's what brings us here today. Last Monday, I stood with my former colleagues in Congress on the White House lawn and witnessed history being made. President Joe Biden, with the stroke of a pen, ensured that there are transformational, historic investments in infrastructure that have been long overdue since the days when I was a 20-something-year-old staffer working for Senator Moynihan. We used to talk about these projects when he served on the infrastructure committee. The dreams have always been there, but the money never matched the dreams. That era is now over, and I'm very proud of that. So we have this opportunity with the $23 billion in new grant opportunities for transit expansion. Projects like Phase 2 of the Second Avenue Subway are no longer when we talk about on the drawing board, but actually accomplished. And we are very, very anxious and pressing the administration hard to grant our request, which is in Department of Transportation, to include the construction of 3 new subway stations at 106th Street, 116th Street, and 125th Street here in Harlem. As you can see, we are ready to go. Now, this is 50 years old. We were ready 50 years ago. But on the theory of better late than never, I want to thank President Biden and our congressional delegation, those who have the courage to vote for this infrastructure bill, because there'll come a time when they look back and be able to show grandkids and great-grandkids of what they were able to accomplish while we are still in the throes of a pandemic. The importance of this phase cannot be underestimated. We saw what happened with phase 1. Again, Carolyn Maloney pressing for this under the Biden administration. And what happened there was a regrowth of an area, a catalyst for economic development. And so we know the positive impact in the local community when we work on projects like this. It's stunning. It's a different experience altogether for our commuters. We sometimes feel a little beaten down by the experience. And it is our opportunity to also affect their quality of lives, and give them more certainty and safety, and just a better experience by the physical environment around them. So now that phase 1 is done, phase 2 is on the books, and let's get that done, because I can't wait to get into phase 2 and phase 3, and 3 and 4. Let's get all the way down to phase 1. Let's get all the way down to House Street. Let's make those connections. Let's dream big, but let's get phase 2 done first. And what will this do? As you know, the vision started in probably back in the 20s, and they were so close. And all of a sudden, something happened that was unforeseen, which was the Great Depression. That sidetracked again. They were ready to go in 1939, and World War II slowed it down. Then they were ready to go in the 1970s, and the financial crisis of that era slowed it down again. So finally, in 2021, and hopefully approvals very soon will allow us to announce the start of it in 2022. We'll be able to get it done now, but for generations, people have only talked about, dreamed about. So these 3 new stations will assist the people of Harlem for starts. This is the most transit-dependent community in the city of New York. 70% of residents use public transportation to get to work versus the citywide average of 55%. And East Harlem population has grown. This is great. It's grown 14% since the last census, so more people are living here. So the goal is to make sure that all Harlemites have what we call access and transportation equity. And what we're talking about in particular is access to the transit opportunities that get them connected to jobs, to education, and to opportunities. And that has been missing for far too long. Also, they can get up to jobs, places like Westchester. They can actually go to Connecticut, but I'm not encouraging that. I'm saying stay, keep your job right here. It'll also alleviate the overcrowded on Lexington Avenue line, which carry. This is astounding. 1.3 million passengers a day. That's more riders than San Francisco, Chicago, and Boston combined. So take that. So this pandemic has given us a lot of challenges, but also reminded us of disparities that have existed in so many areas, and now it's time to right those wrongs in the past. And all of our New Yorkers deserve a 21st century infrastructure experience. And what does this experience look like? Well, it's not going to look like this, my friends. It's going to be bright, it's going to be beautiful, uplifting, Wi-Fi connection, accessibility for people with disabilities, so forth, escalators, ADA accessible. It's going to be high ceilings, it'll be welcoming, all the things that you sometimes don't feel now in the system. So overall, we're rethinking the transit experience from Penn Station to new investments in our subways and buses, making our systems accessible, safe, and reliable, and making sure that we protect the overall health of our community. So this has been a tremendous collaborative effort. I love working with my partners in Washington. I've worked with them, really one of them for a long time. I know how hard they work, but to be able to get this over the finish line during my administration is going to be so exciting, and I cannot wait to get started. So, ladies and gentlemen, next stop, 125th Street. Has been temporarily the acting CEO. I hope to make that permanent. Let's get that done, legislature. Looking forward to continuing provision for many, many years to come. Ladies and gentlemen, stand on your feet.
Governor, I have to thank you and all the other electeds who are here for joining us. This project has been waiting for a couple of years to have the kind of championing that you, supported by Representative Espaillat and others, have seen. We waited for, we had the EIS was done 3 years ago. 3 years ago. We had our paperwork in 2 years ago. So it's time, we're very much hoping that with your leadership and your encouragement and all of the work that's coming from Representative Espaillat and the rest of our delegation, that we can see it. You talked about the benefits of this project. I really can't gainsay any of that. But this is a community that has waited too long. Transit equity is the center of your vision of rebuilding transportation, and we stand ready. We believe that if we got the right signals from Washington, we could be under construction in less than a year. Moving this thing forward, we're going to do it differently, smartly, and hopefully more efficiently than some of the projects in the past. But the main thing is jobs and getting the project done so people in Charlotte and Central Washington start to benefit. We know you've shot in the arm for this effort, that you have come today and that you have stated so clearly your vision for this project completion. So thank you to everybody who has joined in this event. Thanks.
I'm excited to be back here. I feel like I live here, Governor. This is a great project. I'm so excited about it because it's not just an East Harlem project, and of course, there are so many needs. This is a transportation desert right here, Second Avenue. And you can see the numbers, even with pedestrian accidents, of people that have to walk from all the way on the east end of the Manhattan to the Lexington Avenue line. But not only is this a transportation desert, but this is a regional project. I see it as a regional project. I see this project as connecting Harlem, the heart of Harlem, 125th Street, to the rest of the world, really, to the Metro North stations that lead to Westchester County, to Rockland County, and other counties. By bus, just like 10, 15 minutes away, you can connect to LaGuardia Airport and that new investment that we're making in LaGuardia Airport. And eventually we'll connect west on the Hudson River to future water transportation over by the Columbia University campus. So this is an exciting project. What makes it even more exciting is that this will be a job creator. So we have President Rothrower here for City College. We're working on a Transportation Infrastructure Institute with Charlie Rangel to make sure that we train young people for the jobs that will be produced by projects just like this one, creating prevailing wage jobs for young people and folks from this neighborhood. That's the exciting part about it. It's going to lift this community and it's going to connect it to the rest of the world. And the money is there. We worked very hard. In fact, Jano knows we were on the phone very often during the pandemic. We didn't want the MTA going bankrupt. And so we fought hard to put the money there on the table for the MTA to continue to move forward. As you know, the MTA runs on a ridership formula. Ridership collapsed during the pandemic. They were in dire straits, and we were able to come in with the money so the system continued to move forward, and projects like this one were not compromised. And now that we've passed this tremendous bipartisan bill, transportation infrastructure, projects like the New Starts project within transportation has the money. They have the money to make this happen. Now we got to get to the engineering phase. That's our next phase. Once we crossed our hurdle, this project is on its tracks, literally. And so we want to make sure that happens. This is a signature project for New York City. I can't see what's more important and more emblematic of New York City than the subway system, right? And to say that we're building a new line now, today, is an incredible statement to make about New York City. And so I'm very excited, Governor. You know that I bother you a lot. You should see what I do to the Secretary of Transportation, Mr. Buttigieg. You know, I'm on speed dial with him. We want this going to the engineering phase as quickly as possible. The money is there, and we're going to make this happen. Thank you so much.